Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another hard enduro race. Probably heard of this one. This one is called Like RORR, located in Tamaqua. I think I pronounced that right or wrong. Who knows? Pennsylvania. It was a huge turnout here at this race. Tons of people, lots of amateurs, lots of pros, and a lot of spectators. And in typical East Coast fashion, it rained the entire night before and the day before, so it was really wet. And it's all on like a coal mine, so lots of dark coal gets you super dirty, and it's slick and unpredictable. Also, there's a lot of crazy big ravines full of like blast debris of giant rocks, jagged rocks. So you'll see in the course, it's pretty gnarly stuff. Me crashing my drone. There's James doing, I don't even know what the heck you call that thing, but looks like he's having a tough time there.
Do the people proud.
I mean, shoot, does that look like a dude that can ride a dirt bike?
I assume it's way harder than it looks. What is he doing on that control?
So I wasn't able to get James to do a voiceover because he stayed in Pennsylvania and I had to go back to Ohio. But we'll get him next time for sure. So let's get this race on the road, baby. Start your engines, boys. I actually almost missed James' start. I didn't know they started so quickly, one after the other. But not a whole shot. But you'll see right up here, has a little incident. Boom. That sucks. About to blast through this rock garden, get the arm pump going on the early side. Try not to hold on too tight. I know how adrenaline gets pumping at the beginning of a race. Yeah, staying loose and relaxed is so important. Yeah, so if you didn't walk this part, I mean, if you go flying down this and lose control, I mean, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. It looked like it was pretty much straight down. I think the temperature here was probably like 85 degrees and it was super humid. I mean, just myself running around, not nearly working as hard as James was, but I was drenched in sweat. And I think James told me that the last year he had to get taken out on a stretcher because of heat stroke. Made a couple nice passes right there. Nice. This course was super awesome if you could find all the spectating points. Super cool sections through here. Look at this guy, somehow got turned around. I mean, what an absolutely cool looking place to ride. Just so much crazy terrain. It's like Jurassic Park. James just bombs through this side hill. He's coming up on a one of the first big spectator parts. There you'll see there's a whole bunch of people and they got the cowbells out and everything like that. I've not seen a race in the US yet with this strong of a spectator turnout. I mean, they were all over the course, you know, getting in the way of riders, but it just makes it, I don't know, it makes the level of energy just really high, and I know it helps the riders out too. So this section is called 409. Yeah, definitely a lot of people here. So I watched James line up for this, and I knew that he was going to lose the tire out to the right there. I mean, when you're in these situations, these rock gardens, and you've got, you know, somebody behind you breathing down your neck, it's tough to stay calm and make really smart moves. But you know, those rocks look like they're dry, but your tire is, you know, in the wet dirt and mud and coming right up on those rocks, so it's pretty slick just getting through there. As you can see right there. And even me, I'm running around with you know, dirt bike boots on, enduro boots, and I crashed myself a few times just on my 2 feet. Drink a little water, you probably need it. So coming up here for the second lap, they added a few sections that were not in the first lap. But we did not get the GoPro for the second lap because James took it off because it was too hot, it was restricting him. So this is actually a second lap line, this rock hill. It's called Push Push. And it is gnarly. You can see James kind of lofts over that chunky stuff. Big time pro move. I probably watched 5 or 6 guys go through this, and most all of them had to stop in the middle of the hill, take their helmets off, breathe. I mean, this is a pretty nasty, I would say it's probably not the hardest hill on this course, but it's probably top 3, I would guess, but you probably have to ask James. James made it through, I'd say, pretty efficiently compared to some of the other guys I saw come through here. Well, I see what he was trying to do there, but it just didn't work. Sometimes you gotta pick your bike up.
Well, they never mount frickin' square.
So the next section he's coming up on is called Bear Shit. So this section here is also part of the second lap that opens up, so it's much harder than the first lap. But you can see James is not wearing a GoPro. He actually had to come through the pits and cut holes in his shirt to try to stay cool because it was so hot. And obviously you can't see on camera, I mean you kind of can, but there are some huge holes here, and like the line that he's taking right now is the smartest line. Like, you can't go down any further, you can't go up any further. So just imagine if his back wheel were to fall down that and, you know, back down this 3-foot rock ledge. Like, there's no way he'd be able to get back up. He'd have to, like, pick his bike up. So he's using all of his strength just to keep the bike on top of that rock. It's just crazy, crazy lines here. Here he's going to shoot some sparks off the rock. Nice. July 4th. One of these days I'm going to get run over by one of these guys because I'm such an idiot. Just kind of in the middle of the course. So this hill I believe is called Heartbreak Hill. Obviously you're probably maxing out your heart rate. And it is a hill, so it's fitting. There you go. So I didn't get a chance to see anybody else go through this spot, but like I don't know how the heck you make it over that unless you launch over the, you know, the big rock right on the right. But that looks nuts.
Got it, man. High water.
So this is another part of the second lap loop. So none of the guys that did the that only made one lap would have seen this, but it's also a pretty tough little line. It's called bisexual. So I found James here at a checkpoint right in front of this hill called Camel Toe Hill, and he made it super clean. Look at this, just like Billy Bolt type of stuff right there. Pretty gnarly. So now he's dropping down the side of this ravine into a section called Low Morale. I didn't manage to make it down to a couple of these good spots. There's a lot of good spots, like I said before. I mean, if you can find them, they're in there. But honestly, it doesn't really look like the low morale section gave him much of a trouble at all, though. But after low morale, it goes into a section called Pit of Misery, which I don't think gave him too much trouble also. You can hear me breathing hard here because I just ran down the side of a mountain. I think this one is Down in a Hole, I think this section is called.
Oh my god.
Actually, this hill coming up right here, I got to it just after James went through it. It was actually, it's hard to see it on his GoPro footage, but it's a really cool hill. It's actually a hill I would like to run up myself. So now he's headed back down into yet another ravine for a whole bunch more rock section. And you should be able to read on the sign what this section is called. And it's unfortunate that some guy actually, he broke his slave cylinder down here and his chain came off his sprocket and couldn't get back on. So that's a long hike to get out of here. But did you just not see James make light work out of that nasty line? So I don't know what's more impressive, James making it through here as quickly as he does, or the man beast that is running after him, you know, with full gear on. Well, I'm wearing shorts, but everything but my shorts is pretty much full gear. So no justice is done for this line. You see this in person, it's just such a cool line. And there's a guy's bike broken down on the right there. It's like being chased by a freaking Sasquatch out there. I didn't even race, but this was probably this entire section from the beginning was probably my favorite. I just like the fact that it was just up and down in this canyon, and this is all like man-made, blown away boulders, and it was just kind of just a relentless section, and I thought it was really cool. I think I would have enjoyed racing this one myself. James does a lot of riding out in Arizona where he's from, and there's a lot of stuff like this, big boulders, you know, so he's got some good practice on this type of stuff, so he's efficient with it. There's James' dad giving him some info. I didn't even know this section was down here. Obviously there's sections I did not see, but this one looks pretty tough. Like he does kind of like a rolling pivot into a zap and just bounces over this log, and it looks like you got a freaking jet up this hill on the right with pretty much zero run up. And if that looks as steep as it does on camera, I cannot even imagine how steep that actually is. It's kind of hard to tell how steep that is off to his left, but it probably doesn't look like you want to fall down there, so... Section's called Easy Street, one of the only breathers you get on the whole course. Well, I guess besides this, you know, hovering 3-foot log.
Show us what you're working with. Oh my goodness. Oh. Hello to you too. Mr. Butterfly, Mr. Flynn is coming.
Yeah, don't even ask. I was kind of bored just sitting there waiting for James.
Oh my god.
So I think this section coming up is called Costa Rica, or maybe Heaven, one or the other. But it looks like a pretty tough line for me at least. But James makes it up. So now he's coming into another good spectator spot, and it's called Stairway to Heaven. It's definitely one of the gnarlier rock sections in here. There's a whole bunch of people here watching, you'll see. Having a bunch of people around cheering you on definitely gives you energy and boosts your morale. Honestly, James got through this spot like super quick, and then up here he does this iconic looking rolling pivot, like carrying the front wheel. Look at this. He just carries the front wheel and then gets on the pegs. I thought that was pretty awesome. And just look at all these people. They're pretty much like in the course. I mean, and then when a rider goes through, they start walking on the course and walking back and forth. It's funny. I missed a little bike drop while I was running through some bushes to catch up to James. These bikes take such an insane amount of abuse. Like, you wonder how they don't break more often. Literally 10 minutes left to spare in the race. I mean, this is a 5-hour race. James' rear tire came off the rim, and he just kept riding with the tire just hanging off the rim. I might be wrong, but this section I believe is called Shaun of the Dead. It's just another one of those, breakaway big boulders, down in the ravine. And I think he's coming up on another rider, another pro rider now. I think it's Danny Lewis that's in front of him up here. I mean, just look at this cool terrain. I mean, you got this crazy wall up to the left. I wish I got to see this in person, but I kind of got to the race a little bit late, you know, for walking it to see where I need to be to film, but this is this really cool landscape out here. Yeah, there's Danny up there. It looks like he took a, I don't know, not a good line. Got wedged up in those rocks there and left room for James to make a pass. I feel like it'd be so easy to take just one wrong move and get wedged up in a hole and have to manhandle and pull your bike out of it. Conserving energy is just so vital in these races. You just don't want to do some crazy overexerting. I'm not sure if James would agree or not, but after reviewing some of the footage of this hill, this might have been one of the hardest hills on the course. And I definitely edited it pretty good to make it flow, but yeah, this was a struggle hill. Now watch how he rides through here, because you know he just maxed out his heart rate up that hill, and you just start riding super sloppy. I know exactly how this feels when you get all, you just can't, your brain doesn't function, your body doesn't function, you're just kind of slopping around. Definitely got to let that heart rate come back down, otherwise it's really easy to make mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, anybody who tries to tell you that riding dirt bikes is not exercise, tell them to go try and ride a hard enduro and see what kind of shape they're in. This stuff is serious. I mean, he's out here, this is 5 hours of racing at this level. I mean, you have to be in Olympic shape to do this type of stuff, and then get back on the bike and have, you know, the wherewithal and coordination to continue riding on insane terrain like this. So James is coming up on the end now. He did end up finishing 9th place, which is awesome. Another top 10 finish. I know he's super happy with that, considering he got taken out last year on a stretcher. I mean, that's a big improvement. So I'm going to make sure next race to try to get James on to do some commentary, because obviously he knows a lot more about how he's feeling during the race. I see him a bunch during the race, but I mean, I'm sure he's got way better feedback than I do. So the next race is also in Pennsylvania, in Sugarloaf, PA. Obviously James will be there, I'll be there, so definitely come say hi, and we definitely appreciate you watching, and we will see you at the next round.